Did you know your suspension is basically a bank account, and every hard hit, every sharp turn, every ignored noise is a withdrawal? The problem is, you don't get a statement in the mail when you're running low. You just wake up one day and the account's empty, which in suspension terms means metal grinding on metal and a repair bill that could have been completely avoided. We're going through 12 things that drain that account faster than anything else, and a couple of them are going to surprise you because they look totally harmless. Number 1, potholes at high speed. Most drivers hit a pothole, mutter something, and forget about it in 30 seconds. But what actually happens inside your suspension during that impact is a lot more violent than it feels from the driver's seat. When you hit a pothole at 45 miles per hour, the wheel drops and then slams back up against the edge in a fraction of a second. And that force spikes through the strut, the control arm, the ball joint, and every bushing simultaneously, often exceeding what those parts were designed to handle. A single hit at highway speed can push forces equivalent to 3 to 4 times the vehicle's weight through the suspension geometry. Number 2, driving over speed bumps too fast. Speed bumps don't feel dangerous, and that's exactly why they do so much damage. Your brain categorizes them as harmless infrastructure, so you roll over them at whatever speed you happen to be going, which for most people is way faster than 5 miles per hour. Roll over a speed bump above that speed and the front suspension compresses hard. Then the rear wheels hit and the whole car pitches forward into a secondary impact the shocks weren't ready for. Do that 5 or 10 times a day, and you're repeatedly slamming the bump stops into the frame, and that repetitive cycling cracks bushings faster than any single big pothole would. Number 3, overloading your vehicle regularly. There's a sticker on your door jamb right now that tells you exactly how much weight your truck can carry, and most truck owners have never read it once in their lives. When you load past that number, the springs compress further than they were designed to, and the factory alignment settings are now wrong because the ride height dropped. So your tires are scrubbing at an angle, and you're blaming the road for a pull that's actually your own doing. Number 4, worn out or underinflated tires. Most people treat tires and suspension as completely separate problems, but your tires are actually the first line of defense for every suspension component above them. An underinflated tire flexes through its sidewall more than it should, and that uneven flexing sends irregular, unpredictable forces through the wheel hub instead of the smooth inputs your suspension was designed to handle. Worn tires are worse because with less rubber mass absorbing the initial hit, every road imperfection goes straight into the wheel bearing, the tie rod end, and the lower control arm bushing. Number 5, aggressive driving, hard braking, and sharp turns. Hard braking and sharp cornering don't feel like they're destroying anything, but the forces involved attack specific components in ways that impact damage never does. Every time you brake hard, the front of the car dives and the full vehicle weight loads onto the front struts, ball joints, and control arm bushings at 2 to 3 times the normal static load. Do that repeatedly in stop-and-go traffic, and those components are cycling through loads the manufacturer never accounted for in durability testing. Number 6, ignoring wheel alignment issues. Alignment feels optional because the car still drives when it's off, so most people skip it until something pulls hard or a tire wears bald on one edge. When toe is out of spec, even slightly, your tires are pointing in different directions while rolling down the road, and that constant scrubbing loads the tie rod ends with lateral stress they were never designed to carry continuously, wearing out the steering rack mounts measurably faster than a properly aligned car would. Camber misalignment does the same thing to ball joints by forcing them to operate outside their intended load axis. And a ball joint rated for 80,000 miles can fail at 30,000 just from that geometric shift alone. Number 7, driving on rough or unpaved roads daily. If your daily commute includes a dirt road and your car's still running, your brain files that as handling it fine. But the suspension components underneath are on a completely different timeline than they would be on pavement. Unpaved roads generate high-frequency vibrations that never really stop, and rubber bushings fatigue from oscillation cycles, not just from big impacts. So a bushing that'd last 80,000 miles on the highway can wear out in 30,000 miles of daily dirt road driving. Vibration also backs suspension bolts out of their torque spec gradually. And a bolt that's lost even a little clamping force allows micro-movement in that joint, which accelerates wear in ways you won't notice until something's clunking. Number 8, cheap or low-quality suspension parts. The price difference between a cheap ball joint and a quality one is sometimes $20, and that gap makes the budget option feel smart until you understand what you're actually buying. Budget ball joints are cast from lower-grade steel with looser tolerances in the socket, so there's already play in the joint on day one, and a loose joint moves more with every input, generating heat and metal-on-metal contact that a tight joint never would. The grease packed inside cheap joints also breaks down faster than it should, and once it's gone, failure can come in weeks. Number 9, leaking shocks or struts, not replacing in time. A greasy smear on your shock body looks like nothing, but that oil didn't come from nowhere. And what's happening inside that shock is already changing how every part around it wears. Shocks work by pushing hydraulic fluid through calibrated internal valves to resist suspension movement. So when the seal fails and fluid leaks out, the remaining fluid aerates, damping drops, and the spring starts bouncing freely without anything controlling how fast it moves. A bouncing suspension means the tire repeatedly loses contact with the road, which hammers the wheel bearing and ball joint with impacts they'd never see on a properly damped corner. Number 10, corrosion from water, salt, or mud buildup. Road salt isn't just making your car look bad underneath. It's actively eating through the metal that holds your wheels in place. Sodium chloride gets into microscopic surface cracks in steel suspension components and speeds up electrochemical corrosion dramatically faster than plain water would. Because the salt ions increase the electrical conductivity of the moisture film on the metal, pushing rust through the material rather than just across the surface. Control arms and subframe mounting points trap salt water in internal cavities where you'd never think to look, so the structural integrity disappears quietly until a bolt snaps off during a routine repair. Number 11, lifting or lowering your car improperly. Lifting or lowering a car is one of the most popular mods out there, and it's also one of the most reliable ways to destroy suspension components if you don't understand what the ride height change does to every joint in the system. Lower a car without adjustable control arms, and the ball joint gets pushed toward the edge of its designed operating arc, where wear accelerates fast. Lift a truck without adjusting the CV axle angles, and those joints run steeper than they were built for, generating heat and failing suddenly. Number 12, ignoring small suspension noises early. Every suspension repair bill that runs into the thousands started as a noise the driver decided to keep an eye on. And the reason that decision gets so expensive comes down to basic physics. A clunk from a ball joint means there's already measurable play inside it, and play means the metal surfaces are moving against each other with every load cycle. So the contact area grows, the joint loosens faster, and the wear rate accelerates on its own.